Good morning. Well, we had a very heavy dew last night, which means it's going to be a little while before we can get started combining beans. So I have a little bit of free time this morning to catch up on some other stuff. I have been doing bills and paying bills and making bills. We've got some wheat that we need to get delivered. I just called one customer and he said, yep, bring it out. So we're going to load up a couple of those boxes down there in my seed warehouse and get those out to him. And then we'll come back, and I've got a little bit more that needs to go to another guy. He wasn't sure, or I'm not sure if he can take it or not. They were loading pigs or something this morning, so we'll see. Anyway, that's the plan. I'm guessing, I was hoping to be combining beans by 11, just based on how heavy the dew was. I'm guessing it's going to be closer to noon or after lunch, so we'll see. All right, we got 2 boxes loaded up. It would be nice to have my other truck in the gooseneck trailer, but this is what we got for now. Oh well, look how nice it is to be able to see back to the farm though. Have that corn plot out of there. That is good. So, all right, let's get this wheat delivered. Well, I'm here. I've got the boxes unloaded or unstrapped. There's nobody here. I called him, he didn't answer. You think he would care if I unloaded myself? Forklift's in the barn. I might wait a few minutes and then do that. All right, well, I did unload those 2 boxes there. We got them, talked to them guys for a while. And then I had another spot on the way home that had 2 of my boxes that are empty from some wheat that was taken out, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So I'm picking those up. We gotta get back. I'm supposed to be delivering that other wheat in about 7 minutes, and we ain't even close. So we gotta go. I am back in my seed warehouse. I got those 2 empties off. I'm loading up again. This guy's got a few paper bags to go with the 2 boxes. He's a lot closer too, so I'm trying to hurry up and get this loaded and get there, because I want to get back and get to combining beans too. If the red combines can run back there, so can I. Let's go combine beans. 10 after 12 already. Hopefully the ground's firmed up a little bit and conditions are better and we don't have pushing issues like we did last night, and things run smoother once you get out here in the daylight. I don't know if you guys can see it, but a pretty ragged cut in some spots because it wasn't working the best last night. But Brock's not here today. We're just going to park the cart on the end of the field right there where it is. We'll make rounds, dump into it at the end. Phil will come with a truck and get it unloaded. It's a little slower, but we'll get something done. 1 round down, and it didn't push on me once, so that's a good sign. We're off to a good start. These beans are still just, they're really green stemmy. We've got some leaves in spots, and they're hard threshing. They don't run through the combine easy. We're using a ton of power, and we're not going real fast. I like to run beans 5 to 5.5 miles an hour, and I'm lucky to get 4 here without pushing the combine too hard. So it's going to be a little bit slow going, but we're going to get them out, and they're dang good beans. They picked up a little moisture overnight, 14.5, but if you watched my video last week when we were talking about soybean moistures, I will run these all day. Problem is, by the time I get done with all day, they'll be 10% and they'll be over dry. So that's why we start early and you just go get them. I believe Phil is going to start filling a bin, so they'll kind of equalize a little bit in the bin, and all come out about the same, hopefully between 12 and 13%. That'd be ideal. Doing some end rows along the woods here. Can you guys see the color difference over there and how those beans are kind of grayish and they just don't look great? That is the specific spot where I saw that white mold when we were spraying fungicide out here. I've seen those pockets before. It's really bad in this back corner. It'll be very, very interesting to see what happens to our yield maps back here. Most of the pockets that I've been in so far, the yield drops off a little, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Those look like they're terrible beans, but I don't think they are. Right here you can see one of them dark spots, and they're just a different color. They're kind of gray. There's a bunch of leaves, dead leaves still on those plants. That's where we had the white mold. So let's watch the yield. See how much it drops. I mean, like dropped to 73. So there's 69, 67, 62. Okay, all right. Yeah, and we're pushing it too hard, going too fast. So they drop from high 70s into the 60s where we get in those white mold areas is what I am seeing. Yeah, that seems... And where they're green, they're very good beans. A little wetter, we picked up to 16 there, but geez, oh Pete's. I mean, so yeah, the white mold cost us, but it wasn't the difference between 35, 40, and 60 like I thought it might be. In fact, look at that, my grain tank's full. I did those ends in the back. It was the difference between 75, 80, and 60. So it's tough to complain about that, isn't it? Yeah, these green-stemmed, leafed-on beans and all the dead ones from the white mold with the leaves, there's just so much material running through this machine. It is unbelievable what it's doing. Of course, when I film, Phil wants to talk to me. Yes, it did. Anyway, so we're working this combine. We're making it across this field, albeit a little bit slowly. Hopefully we get into some other ones that are a lot drier. The next field is 2.5s or 2.2 maturity. They should be a lot drier and more mature, run through a lot faster, but we are getting there. Ground conditions are much improved today, even over yesterday. It's actually a little bit dry on the ends here. We're getting the trucks in off the road a little bit, and things are working pretty well. So 17 acres left in this field. Hopefully in about an hour we'll be wrapping it up here. Hey, do you guys remember, like, I don't know, a month ago when I went to one of those field day things, and I met Andrew Hasnick of Hasnick Farms up in Michigan, and he's really does a good job on Instagram, posting a lot of their stuff. We've been chatting via Instagram here today, and he got himself a nice new phone, and he was complaining that he needs a way to pay for it, some social media money. So you guys all go over to his YouTube channel, check him out, subscribe to it, get him up to 1,000 subscribers so he can monetize it, would you please? Hasnick Farms. And while you're at it, go follow him on Instagram. He does a great job, posts a whole lot more on Instagram than I do, so help him out. Well, we are just about done with this field, finally, down to the last 3.5 acres here. We've got some interesting stuff going on with our yield map here. Now, you'll notice that red streak in the middle. I was having yield monitor issues there. That is unrelated to those beans were not that bad. Over here, however, though, there's much less green. There's some purple. There's some stuff that's not so good, and that, I believe, is true. The real purpley areas are where we've had white mold the worst. Specifically back there along the woods is this big purple area there. So that white mold is hurting our bean yields. It is showing up. There's some right there. You know, they're not bad here anyway, but it's definitely played or had an impact on them. The other thing is I have a foliar feed application difference between basically where this jog in the field is. These shorter rows in the back didn't get what the rest of the field did, and I'm thinking we're seeing a difference there. So we'll have to analyze on the computer a little bit more when we get a chance to do that, but it's always fun when you can see the differences on the yield map and think, oh, something I did actually made a difference. The fungicide on the corn this year has been that way on all of the fields. The foo-foo juice on the beans, I'm a little surprised to see it, but hey, if it works, right? I think that hawk's having a good day. When you combine at an angle, you end up with a wedge. Finished! Let's get moved. I washed that yesterday. It's dirty again. Well, we ended up at 70.2 on this field. We were up to 72 for a while before we got into that stuff in the back that just wasn't quite as good there. But those are dang good beans. So, all right, on to the next one. They're an earlier maturing bean. I expect them to be super dry, too dry, and to be easier to harvest. I'm gonna get my leaf blower real quick. It's in the back of the truck and blow some stuff off. A lot of beans on that feeder house I don't like seeing. getting it unstrapped for me. Let's see if we can get lined up and hooked up right here. Dad's a little sore at the moment, I think. He just got done spraying not quite, the clover on the cover crop field, the wheat stubble where we tiled. So he was bouncing over all the tile lines in the sprayer, and I think he's a little sore from it. So this is historically one of our poorest fields. So I don't expect to see 70 bushel beans here. 55, 60 would be awesome, and we're there right now, but this is sort of the good spot, or one of the better spots. Of course it drops down. They might be decent beans this year, I don't know, we'll see. They are much more mature and drier, though. You can tell we don't have any of those green stems and leaves, and we're rolling at 5.5 miles an hour because we can. We don't have to worry about the combine power issue. Dry beans run through so much easier, so this one will go fast. There's only about 36 acres, I believe, here between these two fields, the front and the back here. I had to come and get the grain cart. Dad brought me over. Let's go. Cruising. 5 to 5.5 miles an hour. Look, we got company over there across the road. Fun watching them guys. We're running a grain cart over there as well. There's a few combines out today. The neighborhood's busy. I know you guys don't get a great feel for how fast time passes in my videos and stuff, but we flew through this for like half an hour. It took me half an hour, and it's not a big field. There's 11.5 acres here, but it took me half an hour. And we're done. On to that one. Here we found the good beans, the real good ones. See, most people don't show you the bad spots in the fields. I like to brag about the good ones, but there's enough of this that the averages don't ever look like those numbers do. 9. Oh boy. Also would appear we found the wet spot. Correction, one of the wet spots. I just called Dad to let him know we were about done here, and he could come over to help us move, and he said, well, I'm just pulling into the field, I'm already here. So that's okay, good deal. So we're down to 5 acres or so here, a couple rounds, won't take very long. You guys want to go have some fun? You want to know where we're going next? We're going to combine those March beans. Let's go see how they did. There's beans there. I mean, I pretty much know what to expect, I think, but just the fact that we're going to harvest beans that were planted in March is unbelievable and awesome, and it's a win. So let's go do it. I think I caught a rock or something. That center feed drum just stopped. Let's see what's going on here. I did not see anything. I don't know. Let's try this again. Looks like it's running okay. I didn't hear anything pound through the combine. Huh. That was strange. I wonder if I got something caught in the cutter bar. It looks like the cutter bar quit. Weird. Everything seems to be running now, but look see how the beans are ragged underneath up there. Go slow here for a second. Looks like there was something pushing over there. Maybe we got something caught somewhere. Don't know. Good to go now. We're just about done with this field too. When we first got this 40-foot draper head, somebody says to me, how do you watch for rocks? Well, let's be honest, you don't. And I might see them if they're up in front of me there. Can you see anything down there? I can't see anything down there. Or over there. Now this draper head doesn't, see there's a rock right there. But we'll float right over that one. This draper head does a really good job of floating over rocks as long as they're not popped up sitting right on top of the dirt. If they're buried at all, it usually will glide over them. So it's rare that I actually pick a rock up. But yeah, it happens. 56 here, 59 on the front field. Like I said, I knew these weren't going to be 70 bushel beans. This is some of our worst, absolute worst farm. And if we were 55 or above, I was going to be happy, and I'm pretty happy. We are going to plant some wheat out here, so I don't know if we'll get to it tomorrow or not, but in the next couple of days, this will get planted to wheat. Maybe we'll stick Dad on this as his little pet project, land improvement farm next summer, and see if he can't work his magic and figure out how to make this farm better. Part of it's soil types. It's just not the best ground, but it should be better than it is. You guys see that thing? I want one of those. That would be so much fun. A little powered parachute glider floater thingy-majig. I would love to have one. Here we go. Soybeans planted March 17th. Harvested September 29th. Let's do this. What a cool experiment and just unbelievable thing that we did. We're in Michigan. Like, I'm not in Texas. We don't plant in March. We're in Michigan right now. Barely, but still. Okay, well, March planted beans. 100% it's a success, except for that it's the same variety that was in that other field we were in today. And it's giving me some of the same problems, some green stems, and they're just not quite ready is really what it is. I mean, they're dry, 12-7, but the stems are still green. A hard frost would help them, but we don't want that. My double crop beans are still growing. They're yielding really well. I don't know if they're quite as good as the rest of the beans around it, but they're not off by much. That first round that I did there was 68. The field average before that was like 70.4 or something. So within a couple of bushel, close enough that it's a win in my book, and worth trying again. So we don't have a ton to do here. There's only about 11 more acres. We'll knock them off and then on to the next field. So that guy that was across the road from us earlier, dumping into his grain cart, the grain cart's over there. He's across the road from us again. We kind of went around the corner, he jumped across the road. Anyway, he plays a dangerous game with leaving that unloading auger out all the time. I know some guys do that. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it steady. But I am not one of them, because it's just, there's too much stuff to hit, especially what he's doing now. He's perimetering the field, going around the outside of it. Like, nope, no way I would leave the auger out there. Well, I guess my auto steer line worked. Last pass of the March planted beans here. It's getting dark. I don't know that we're gonna go anywhere else. I'm having some trouble with it wrapping on the reel a little bit, probably because the beans are getting tough and it's been pushing a little bit, and I don't know if I want to fight that all night like I did last night, so we'll see. We'll get unloaded, get the combine unhooked, we'll take it back to the farm and fuel up, and that's probably gonna be it for the night. It's almost 8 o'clock anyway. Done, got the head unhooked. I'll head up the lane to the farm over here. Dad and I are we're gonna go get the grain cart. Phil just emptied it. He's pulling in with a truck. Cart's empty at the back of the field. We'll pull it back up here to the farm. Oh, it's not so much nicer when you can turn the field lights on. We have started filling our bean bin with beans, so Phil's working on that now. All right, guys. Well, I'm heading home early. It's a little before 8:30, and maybe I'll get to see my kids yet tonight right before bed, so that would be good. We had a pretty good day. Let's see, we did 44 plus 36 is 80, and 17 is 97. Just shy of 100 acres of beans out today. That's not a bad day. With a little bit of a late start. Maybe we'll be able to get started a little bit earlier tomorrow. We'll have a bunch of beans all in one spot, so we should have a pretty good day. Hopefully they're drier and combine a little bit easier than some of those did today, and we can move a little faster. Anyway, March beans, what a success. In fact, you guys remember this comment? I'll just put it right here so you guys can see that. You remember that? I love it when I prove people wrong. Oh, it's my favorite. They worked. I planted beans on March 17th in Michigan. Not only did they come up, survive snow, frost, all kinds of cold weather the first part of May, end of April, they were still there in June. They grew, and they yielded 70 bushel to the acre. That's a win. That is a huge win in my experiment there, and definitely gave me enough confidence that if I get an opportunity to plant beans in March again, I will do it. I'll plant an 80-acre farm instead of 17 acres. Like, yeah, let's do it. There's always a reason to push the envelope a little bit, experiment, try things. So I don't know that they were better than the rest of the field of the beans that were planted in there next to them, but those were also really early planted beans on April 17th. Like, those were some of the first ones we planted too. So just because they weren't a lot better doesn't mean they weren't good and better. I mean, they 70 bushel beans, that's good. That's really good. So anyway, thanks for watching tonight, guys. We're going to go at it again tomorrow. We're going to try and get some wheat in the ground tomorrow. We're going to get a truck back from the dealer. I tell you about this truck? I'll tell you about the truck tomorrow. Check back tomorrow for that. It's a long story, but keep moving. Have a great night. Like, subscribe. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Thanks, guys.